Exclusively on StreamBlast, we're talking about 2 corporate origin stories. I am your host, Brian Swan, joined with...
Canine Biscuits.
That's right. And, of course, you can find me on atdemocracy.com, and you can find this man on YouTube, Canine Biscuits. This is StreamBlast, of course, our streaming focused conversation. Anything from the TV we're going to be talking about. Now, Mark, we saw 2 corporate origin stories, basically.
Yes.
2 product origin stories. And it was not that they came out, they did kind of come out around the same time. We saw them both while they were on streaming, so that's why they're StreamBlast.
Yes, so Space Jam 2 and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. Very corporate. You saw a lot of IPs in both. So we're going to compare. They both came out on streaming too at the same.
I'm sorry, that sounds like a bore fest, guys. Instead of doing, I will say, did we ever actually put out a Chip and Dale pod?
Yes, okay. It was like a very small one, and I think you said it was okay. And then we talked about it on when we were doing the Game of the Year discussion, Movie of the Year discussion for 2022.
Yeah, and you said it was cool, and I said, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You were just like, it's alright.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was fine for a watch. I like these, I like those, fucking... For a first-time watch, I like all those, here's a clusterfuck of IPs, references, IPs, and, for a one-time watch, and I'm just having a good time. I'm like, I know that thing.
It's kind of the same way you feel with Flash, or I felt with Flash, where it's like, this was fun for one time, in the moment, messy CGI, stupid popcorn. That was fine. And then the more you think about it, at least that's how I felt about Rescue and Flash. It's like, the more you think about it, the more you feel like, oh man, this is awful. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Never again. By the way, Flash is now on Max, I believe. So
I do think, out of, Space Jam and Ready Player One, I will say, I think Rescue Rangers has the most fun with its references. I wouldn't say
well, yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. They don't do as much, obviously, with the Flash. It does more than Doctor Strange, but it's more.
Well, I'm not comparing it to Flash. I'm comparing it to Space Jam 2 and Ready Player 1.
Space Jam.
I mean, IP. I'm talking about IP clusterfuck crossovers.
Oh god, yeah, Space Jam 2. We didn't even need to bring up.
But I think Chip and Dale has the most fun with his references.
Anyway, guys.
Over those what?
Anyway, guys, we're talking about corporate origin stories. I really.
You're not gonna say if you.
I don't. These are 2 terrible movies to me that I would rather not spend any time talking about. These are Chip and Dale. Now, the only thing that was interesting was the art, the situation with the art, the character design.
I like looking at it. It's. I
think it looks pretty bland overall. Overall it looks bland.
I think it has the most. It has the most deep cuts. It has the most fun with its references. It brings out a bunch of characters out of nowhere. I'm surprised. There's a lot of characters they throw in the background. I'm surprised they have the license to.
That is true. That's a good point.
I think they just have the most. What I'm saying is that I think they had the most fun with their references.
Clearly, that's true.
I only bring this up because it's the only time we're probably going to talk about until we get to our fucking
until 2026.
Until we get to our Space Jam cartoon chat, which I am not allowing for another year.
Space Jam 3. Start talking about Space Jam 3. My God. Yeah.
I would be talking about Space Jam 3 that.
Sorry, guys.
2 made money.
I'm just doing a quick... Oh, you know it. Absolutely. I still would love to see We were talking about alternate timelines before in another pod. I would love to see the universe where they did all of those alternate jams, like the... oh, shit, he's got some pimples in his face. He's fixing something. But
fuck you. Point them out.
But when... I would love to see all the alternate jams that Warner Brothers was considering, like the NASCAR jam, the football jam, just because it seems like
Tiger Woods golf jam. That sounds boring as shit.
It just seems like that era would have brought out more. Obviously more product placement, but it would have brought out more interesting concepts at the time with the Looney Tunes involved.
I think if those movies actually existed, I think it would people would just keep saying, "This is not Space Jam. This is not Space Jam. This is not Space Jam."
It depends. Again,
like,
I think
no one had the power that Michael Jordan possessed. Not even LeBron James.
no, I don't think so. But I think that it would have, because it was closer to the time period, they would have captured that magic way more than like 20 years later, or 30 years later.
I think Back in Action was a good result we got out of that.
It's
It's
a result. It's a result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't seen it recently, like I did.
I haven't. No, you've seen way more, guys. Again,
I wasn't thinking about John Tyree watching.
Guys, check out. Mark did a very good analysis on Back in Action, the lead up to it, everything about it, on his channel, K9 Biscuits. Check it out; it's worth it. Mark, let's
I also have a Space Jam everything review,
and that too. So,
but look forward to the future cartoon chat for fucking Space Jam and even further Back in Action.
Yeah,
and probably like a year's time after that, or 2 years, Space Jam 2: A New Legacy. Good God.
Sounds atrocious. All right, let's talk about these corporate origin movies. So we've had, again, there's a lot of you could say a lot of articles. You know, obviously, lately in terms of internet articles, you go to Google on your phone, you tap the G on your phone, you find a lot of these sort of just generic articles that are just made to get your attention. A lot of articles are coming out about, you know, like, hey, we're getting a lot of these corporate origin stories. And I wanted to run through just quickly the sort of progression that we've gotten. Now, there have been origin stories in the past. You know, you good?
Just yawning. You have to stop your
very dramatic. It was a very dramatic yawn. It was like you were going through some life event. Like, my God.
I was going through like all my yawns in existence, and they all combined to one yawn.
That makes sense. But
also, your voice is fucking boring.
Anyway, let's run through really quickly a couple of key ones here. So we've had quite a lineup. Again, the dramatic product retelling.
That's a cool fucking.
Because it's cool, but it's generic office building, generic font.
I know, but it's like the StreamBlast logo is falling.
Yeah, toward you. Yeah. So the first, like, it's not the first one, but it's one of the more memorable ones. But at the turn of the century, you had Pirates of Silicon Valley. This really talked about the clashing between Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and Wozniak, and just the development of these tech titans.
I've never seen this one.
You know, I haven't either, but this was a very significant movie at the time that now has a cult following. It was a lower budget. They sort of wanted to give that impression.
That's not very professional of you. You didn't watch it for the fucking podcast?
I need to watch every single one of these product retelling movies.
Yes.
Well, like I woke up, dude, it was funny because I woke up at like 12. I called you 2 nights ago and you were asleep, but I called you and I was like, fuck, we're not doing fucking Tetris or like, right? And you were like, no, I haven't watched Tetris. And I was like, oh my God, we're not doing Tetris. Like, there's too many. Oh my God, I can't do, you can't do 4 in 1 fucking sitting. Like, you know, it's too many fucking climbing.
That's
stories.
our biopic movie. And it's like, do we do Tetris? Like, do Tetris or you're fucking fired. You have 24 hours till the podcast starts.
That's if we ever got bought by Disney, by the way. All right, so
I want somebody to make a correct Disney biopic, because I think like somebody else was trying to do Saving Mr. Banks, and like
a genuine.
But Disney bought that, so like we're gonna make Walt Disney look a little bit better than what you're fucking writing.
Yeah, forget your.
Walt Disney is an asshole and he smokes a lot, but I think they show him smoking in that. I haven't seen it, but I think they show him smoking in that movie, but it still doesn't like tarnish his image too much.
Yeah, they never want, even though everyone knows, they never want to taint Disney. I mean, his name's on the brand, so like, it's not like Steve Jobs where everyone talks about Steve Jobs. It's like, oh, he was an asshole, but Apple is not named Steve Jobs. Imagine your company is named Disney and the guy is an asshole. Like, you're probably paying as many people as possible to not talk about the fact that you're a head.
Yeah, Walt Disney is he's also a businessman, which is he had like great ideas, so in that regard he's a saint for those ideas, but also he's an asshole.
I don't go as far as a saint. I mean, it's not pushing.
A lot of people's ideas make them saints, so like he got a ball rolling, which make him a saint for that. Which again, that's businessman. That's what
I think you're using saint a little liberally here.
Yeah, I am, because we We have so many saints, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
You know the like, for instance, the guy that invented toilet paper, he's a saint.
Yeah.
You don't want to wipe.
We have so many saints, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, no.
That's why, like, God, it's like in the God of War universe, the word God doesn't mean anything.
You're misinterpreting the point. I'm saying that the guy that invented toilet paper is the saint. The guy that invented the toilet paper holder is not a saint. Even though he's a businessman, that does not make him a saint. Like, you can have both, but, it doesn't make him a saint. You get what I'm saying? Like,
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you're making something critical, like a car, or like something like that, I don't know. Like, who knows? I don't care. All right, moving on. So, we've had the Pirates of Silicon Valley again. That was big. Has a cult
My
following.
brain keeps auto-correcting to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Same. Because my phone put up Pirates of the Caribbean thing like somewhere on my phone now, like an ad when I was scrolling. It's like I just did it once, just once. All right, moving on. So I think for most of, obviously, we are both around the same. We were born around the same time. This, for both of us, I think, was the first product origin story. Hollywood product origin story that we
That's fucking Spider-Man.
but that was the first one that we all kind of saw, and it's also
Is that Lex Luthor?
Oh my, shut the fuck up. that was well executed as well. So you have obviously so many actors that are involved, and just people like Justin Timberlake, a big person now, and even Impact in the past, but Jesse Eisenberg is involved, Andrew Garfield is involved. You have this was a film that propelled actors into the future, and again, this was written by Aaron Sorkin, this was directed by David Fincher. By the way, music by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. I think those two did either Mission Impossible or no, that had to be Oppenheimer, I think. Because we just went through it when we did the review. These two came up again. So they've made some very strong cinematic moments through history here. But yeah, man, Social Network, though, I think this stands the test of time of being this sort of excellent product origin story because it really tells the story of these characters well. You said that, you watched it as a kid. I don't want to spend too much time, obviously, but what are your thoughts on Social Network?
I watched it, through school. But, it was a very memorable, biopic for me. Because I love the editing. It's, it's very snappy and fast-paced.
The dialogue's great, too.
The dialogue and the cinematography is great.
Full attention.
I had to swear an oath before we began this deposition, and I don't want to perjure myself, so I have a legal obligation to say no.
Okay? No. You don't think I deserve your attention?
I think if your clients want to sit on my shoulders and call themselves tall, they have a right to give it a try, but there's no requirement that I enjoy sitting here listening to people lie.
Is really cleverly put angle shots, and the story, the acting is really well done, and the I guess the way they it is based on a true story. The way they portrayed the story is very memorable,
and the non-linearity of the story as well. You keep going back and forth.
Yes.
You get more information as you build and build and build and build to this crescendoing point where you realize, oh, yeah, he is an asshole. Yeah, he is, like you said, that's the thing you kind of learn. Is a lot of it is one guy's a shrewd businessman, one guy's an asshole, the other guy's just working with them, and one guy gets fucked over usually. And, I think this was really the staple because what happened, this was really the standard bearer for these product origin stories, because what happened was Steve Jobs dies in 2011 and everyone wants to make a Steve Jobs origin story, and so the chase was on, and you had Jobs in 2013, which was Ashton Kutcher starred in it, and this thing was essentially I'm not going to say it was bad, but it was a rush job.
If you don't share our enthusiasm and care for the vision of this company.
No. I'm not understanding.
Get out.
What?
They really,
And there was 4 of these?
There were 2 there's definitely a couple of them, but there are 2 key ones. These are the 2 key ones here. Because they came out within 2 years of each other. But the thing about Ashton Kutcher was Ashton Kutcher looked like Jobs. He tried to get the mannerisms down. He tried to get the dialogue down in terms of the way that he spoke. But this movie speeds through 30 years in 2 hours. It really tries to get through that whole development story. And it just kind of comes across as... It was like when we didn't have the other Steve Jobs movie, it was fine. But then when Steve Jobs, the 2015 movie came around, that was genuine. That was like, even though the main guy, the main guy playing, Michael Fassbender, the main guy playing Jobs did not look like him, it really came off well. I mean, Seth Rogen didn't feel like Seth Rogen in that movie. That was like actual acting.
The story of why and how you left Apple, which is quickly becoming mythologized, isn't true.
I take this to the board myself. Don't do that. I am doing that.
You can't.
Why?
Aaron Sorkin was back in the saddle again from The Social Network to do this movie. Danny Boyle was back again, right? Like, these two were back together to work on this, and it was a very good, well-paced story where you went back and forth, but you spent snippets in time with Steve Jobs and his business partner, and it was much more meaningful because you're not zooming through 30 years. You're not trying to zoom through to get to where he gets to. You're just focusing on key points.
I'm not going to say his name, but I think our old rec center supervisor could have played a good Steve Jobs.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He had the... Maybe not. Because he has the... When he had an idea, then his mind... You could tell he would light up. He'd be very excited. But when he was more like to himself, no. But he was definitely like that Steve Jobs' energy, but only when he had an idea.
That's what's crazy about MacBooks.
When what?
He was also crazy about MacBooks.
He was. No, it was all Apple over there. Remember that iDev? That was all Apple. Yeah. So we also got it kept rolling. We had The Founder in 2016. This was a bomb, but it was the history of McDonald's. You get to learn about McDonald's, how it was born. Like, okay.
Make shitty tweets.
Then you have now more recently Flamin' Hot,
I heard that was
which came out this summer. And apparently there's just a lot of inaccuracy in this movie. I wouldn't be surprised Disney is behind this, 20th Century Fox, Disney behind this, and Lamborghini, there's going to be a movie coming out, that came out last year, and that one's apparently terrible. That one was apparently just so inaccurate that people hate this movie. But again, another problem.
You can have inaccurate stories, just make them good.
Make them good if you're going to do it.
Because at the end of the day, you're just trying to make a fucking movie.
Yeah, you can do, if the Lego movie was like an origin story and it was about like Legos becoming free to, I don't know, anything. It could be.
There's a lot of movies that have the tagline based on a true story and they're just so fabricated. The comedy movie tag has a tagline based on a true story, but it's so wacky and it's no, this is not fucking true.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's a fun movie though.
It's very loose.
Bullshit, it ain't true.
Very loose interpretation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also know that there will be another one, a Pop-Tart origin story. Yes, unfrosted, coming from...
Those fucking commercials, those cannibal kids eating these fucking people in society, those commercials were fucking dark. It's these Pop-Tart people just trying to live their lives. And these fucking people are just eating them every chance they get. The darkest one was the fucking baby nursery.
Yeah.
Where they were just these Pop-Tarts were looking after their newborn baby.
And they would
and the nurses came in time for the feeding.
Time for a feeding.
No!
Ah, damn it.
Crazy good.
And they're eating your fucking child!
Yeah. That was nuts.
That better be the movie. Fuck.
That was gold.
I want the whole movie to be that premise.
It's going to be definitely a comedy. Jerry Seinfeld is going to be the main guy backing this movie, so definitely something more comedically based.
Just give me... Yeah. I don't care about the fucking story about the Pop-Tart. I want the story about the commercials in the writing room for those fucking weird-ass commercials.
Fucking Christ.
And then like give me the fucking biopic for the Cinnamon Toast Crunch commercials, not Cinnamon Toast Crunch itself, the commercials.
Just the commercials, and
where those fucking cannibal little fucking mascots keep eating each other.
Again, I still think Apple Jacks, even though it would be racist, would be a great movie.
Here I come, I am Cinnamon.
And that stupid racist apple, oh my god.
Here I go. I did it. I am Cinnamon.
After all that, we've got, there's still a Pop Tart, but after all that, we had 2 movies this year, AIR and BlackBerry. Were these failures, or did they feed into the hype to keep these ideas going?
Why not both?
That's the question. Now,
why not both?
Let's start with Mark. Let's start with AIR.
People don't know what the hell a Nike is.
What's a Converse?
NBA All-Star shoes.
There's nothing cool about Nike.
You would have to have a pretty compelling pitch.
I can tell them the one thing the other companies can't compete with. Our basketball division is terrible.
I had seen this movie.
All right.
By the way, shut the... Jesus Christ.
You knew that was going!
You see this, man? You see how funny he thinks that shit was? Look at that. That was a 10 out of 10 for
You were setting up for it.
That was a 10. I was just saying the word. You set it up yourself. Jesus Christ.
Let's start with AIR, finally.
All right. So this movie came out in spring 2023. This was originally going to be a Prime Video release, but it got a brief theatrical run because of the amount of love it got from preview showings. It was produced, directed, and stars Ben Affleck, by the way, and it tells the story. Well, he's not the star, but he's one of the stars.
Yeah.
But it tells the story of Nike's flailing basketball division chasing after a single player, we all know who that player is, that they believe will get them to unprecedented popularity. Now, this was written by Alex Convertberry. It was inspired, by the way, he was inspired, if you remember, I know you didn't see it, I think. The Last Dance was this big Michael Jordan documentary, 6 episodes. I think it was on Netflix. It was huge. It blew up. It was like the big thing during COVID. It just was this great documentary, and there was a brief moment where they talked about Air Jordans, and Convery was so inspired by that he said, all right, I'm going to write a script. I want to get this, I want to convert this into a movie, actually. And in the development of this movie, they actually talked to Jordan. Jordan said, look, I mean, we can do this, but I want one of the Nike shoe managers involved, basketball managers involved, who Chris Tucker plays, by the way. So that got Chris Tucker involved. And I want my mom to be played by Viola Davis. So Michael Jordan had a very important piece to this movie.
I think I heard he wanted to act for this, but they were like, I mean, this is take place in the 80s and you're fucking old, dude. There's no way we can do this.
Yeah, I think it works overall, because it's like, it gives this mysticism to the fact that he is this super valuable player.
I believe in your son. I believe he's the future.
I thought this was pretty good. I thought this was, it's not The Social Network, but because again, that's always in my head when I compare. I didn't immediately go into comparing this to Social Network. I felt like this had a completely different vibe, which is good. And
yes.
There's so many good things about this.
Before we keep going, I want to introduce our third guest.
Oh, Jesus.
Off camera, we have the Michael Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan has laryngitis and a bad back, so he will not be saying anything or doing anything.
Laryngitis on a bad back.
I just showed Brian
the reference to the bad back and laryngitis.
I was thinking about that the whole time with the movie, because like
good shit.
They couldn't they weren't confident enough to have an actor play Michael Jordan. Yeah. And they didn't want the real Michael Jordan in there because he's old as fuck. Yeah. So it's like, the whole time I was thinking, because like when they had that guy in there and they wasn't showing his face, they were like, look, Michael Jordan has laryngitis and a bad back, so he won't be saying anything or doing anything.
Yeah, it's like just insert person here, basically.
Okay, because there was one awkward scene where it was so distracting, where it's like, because okay, I get it, you're not going to show his face, because he's too recognizable. You can't just have an actor just play him. Honestly, I think if you just played it straight, it would have worked out. But you mean just play as a guy that's not Michael Jordan, that's just fine. Just play it straight and you're fine. You have somebody playing his face. I get his face is too recognizable, but it's like, I would have, we already know it's based on a movie based on a true story. I would suspend my disbelief anyway.
I will say, before you go to your point, this guy is perfect. Whoever the actor is, he has the perfect body mold, though. Like, everything else, perfect body mold. I don't know what his face looks like, but he's clearly, like, almost Michael Jordan. Like, holy shit.
So, the one scene that distracted me is when they're in the meeting room.
Yeah.
And, he says, like, so you're liking, I forgot what he says, but it's like, so you're liking, like, the pictures, Michael Jordan? Yeah. And it's not like he's, like, looking at him with silence. He's just, like, it's like he didn't even hear the question. And it's just, but, like, it's an awkward cut to him.
Yeah, I think...
And he's just, like, looking around, like...
Yes. No, I think the thing about that, I had no problem with that. I think it makes sense because if you... Number one, you know that they're not going to show his face, number one. But
yeah.
You also know that he doesn't want to be there. Remember that. With Nike, he does not want to be there. He was dragged here by his parents.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to be here. I don't care. I don't like these people. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm bored. And it's like, so when he's just like, because he did this, like, and it's like, I think that's, you know, for what it is, like, that was believable.
You know, when I think of the attitude of somebody who doesn't want to be here, they would just, like, sit blankly and silently, like...
Yeah, but I think that would... I think people would have been more reactionary to that as being limited. Like, that, people would have said that's not enough.
To me, it just looked like you just didn't hear the question.
It felt like you could hear it, because he did, like, a literal, like, immediately after. Like, he just... Like, yeah, he literally went, like he had his hands in his pockets, he's looking at the wall, and he's just, you know... Like,
oh, okay, I didn't see that part. It just looked like he was just, like, looking at the wall.
Yeah.
He was, like, still looking around the wall.
Right. But it felt like it... No, to me, at least, it looked like it was more like a shrug. Like,
okay, maybe I missed that.
I don't care...
I missed that gesture.
I don't care what these Nike, guys are saying, basically. But, yeah, man, yeah, I didn't think that was too much. That was too bad. But, yeah, that is the elephant in the room. I do think that, by the way, the other elephant in the room is, like, clearly... through the whole movie, it's still the actors. Like, they're not really getting into their roles at all. Like, you compare this to, like, BlackBerry, and if you use these smaller actors that you don't really know about and are kind of unknowns, you can kind of immerse yourself into these people that you don't really know. Whereas when it's Chris Tucker, and it's Ben Affleck, and it's Matt Damon, and it's Jason Bateman, it's like, you're kind of, like... You know who these people are, so you're basically watching the actors act, and you kind of to me there was like no immersion in it. Like I love the set designs and I love that all, and I love the movie still. Like, I've watched it 3 times, but it still is the thing of like, I'm watching actors that I love, and that's it. Like, I never got to a moment where it's like, yeah, that's not Matt Damon, that's not Ben Affleck. In fact, I bet you that Ben Affleck probably would have been better hiring Matthew McConaughey for his role. Because when he's sitting there and his feet are out on the desk at the office or whatever, I'm like thinking like, man, there'd probably be way more range if it was McConaughey sitting there. Because he's supposed to be this cool California surfer dude. And I don't know if McConaughey's just too old or he wanted to be the one that's the CEO. But he's not limited, but he's just kind of reading lines. He's just like, well, you know, this company just started, and the board, and the da-da-da. It's like, he's just, I don't know, I don't get the sense that he was like, really like, you know, I feel like McConaughey, it's like, it's the board, it's, guys, you gotta get the spirit, you gotta,
I think, because he was still bouncing off the good actor, so like, I think it was still, I didn't distract me that much from...
Yeah, I'm not, again, this is a nitpick. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying that in comparison, like, if it's McConaughey just pulls it out of the air. Like, no pun intended. Like, he pulls it literally out, like, oh, like, if you're looking for that vibe of, like, California surfer dude, that's the guy to get. And if you're looking for the guy that's, you know, like, you know, because he has a Porsche and he jogs casually and he's like, believe in your will and shit. Like, that's totally like a Matthew McConaughey.
Okay, so I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Probably a story about like shoe development isn't probably something that's going to fucking sports shoes development.
Right.
Isn't probably that's just gonna something interest me immediately. But like, yeah, these actors are pretty much playing themselves. But like, I don't know what the original story is for the development of Nike, nor do I care. But like, it's these actors, if they develop a shoe, so you can like put like, if you were to make this movie with like, I don't know, like Kevin Hart and
Will Smith, Denzel Washington.
Yeah, if you were to make but if you were to make this movie with like Kevin Hart and Jack Black, it would just be about, hey, when if Jack Black was designing a shoe for Nike?
Right.
As long as you make that entertaining, I'm down with it. So it's like, so when if these actors were developing a shoe for Nike, yeah, sure, and they made that entertaining.
Yeah, no,
because they were putting their all into this movie, and like it's like the seeing all these guys interact and like and like with the story and stuff, and it's like it made it interesting because I don't give a crap about sports. I don't give a crap about shoe brands. I mean, like I don't know what freaking brands these are. I get these from Walmart every month because I destroy my shoes while I'm skateboarding. I don't know what brand makes these shoes. I just know like
go to a shoe.
I just know like child labor makes them in the sweatshop. That's all. That's all I know about them.
At least get yourself some comfort shoes. My God, Walmart, come on, man. You have enough of a paper grade to go to at least a shoe store to
because I destroy them like every month
True.
because I skateboard.
I know. You just get some comfort shoes.
But I do have comfort shoes for like when I'm traveling.
Right.
Okay, those are from Walmart too.
No, I think your point is super accurate. Like, I don't want to downplay. Again, I've watched this 3 times. And on Prime, by the way, like, I've watched this 3 times on streaming. That's usually not my vibe. Usually, like, if it's a streaming movie, I'm kind of done and I wrap it up.
What made you watch this multiple times? What made you watch this multiple times?
I love these are nitpicks. Like, I love this story because I love the actors involved. Again, like you said, what you're saying is actually accurate. Like, I'm not a shoe guy either. I think it's stupid to collect shoes because you're gonna wear them, and if you don't wear them, what the fuck's the point? Like, it's not, like, to me, that's my whole thing. But some people are super shoe files. Like, they love shoes. And
dude, we used to get roasted back in high school for what the type of shoes you wear. If they weren't fucking expensive ass brands,
absolutely,
like, you get fucking roasted. The shoe like fucking community back in school days were so I fucking hated it. I remember like listening to like these these 2 classmates talk about shoes. Like, hey, you know those good shoes? Yeah, they're going on sale. And the other guy was like, well, like, if they're for cheap, then everybody's getting them. Well, like, then they're no good. Then they're not expensive.
Yeah, there's a real and by the way, this is another thing that's so good about Air is apparently like they really did their research to make sure that these were product accurate shoes and that everything was really researched. Like, they did not. This was not. Again, I love the craftsmanship and not just obviously the effort to get everything going, but like, this is a great period piece. There's some great scene decor, whether that's in the office. I love the 7-Eleven scene because you see so many just little things from the I think 70s or 80s, 80s, obviously Michael Jordan, 80s. So, and then there's a moment where Matt Damon's character is sitting down and he's watching the TV, and on the other TV there's these ads, which is like, it's just and it's great. Like, I love. Again, I love Damon, Bateman, Tucker. I think Viola Davis, Matt Damon, and Tucker are the best actors in this movie because they're going beyond. Like, as much as I just said, like, yeah, you can see they're the actors. Matt Damon has played this, like, because he did this in Ford versus Ferrari very well, too.
Yes.
This wise beyond his years kind of energy that just exudes from him. I don't know how he does it. But in this latter stage of his life, it's just been this, like when he's saying something, like the way that he presents it and the way that he, like, his charisma about it, however he does it, it feels like he's, so knowledgeable about it. It's such a well done and well crafted acting mechanism, because he did this in Ford versus Ferrari as well, where he's playing Carl Shelby, and like, if you get the wrong actor, you don't believe anything he said.
Oh yeah.
And you get Matt Damon, who's done, he's done this for that. I'm trying to think of so many movies. Like, he's done this like more than a few times, where he's playing this guy that's experienced in the craft, and he's believable all the way. And I think he does a really good job with that. And I think Chris Tucker, he's, you get some Chris Tucker jokes in there, but he's clearly trying to push more of just acting like who he's supposed to be. And again, Viola Davis does this great job as basically like, you have the agent for Michael Jordan, but then his mom is just this caring, careful, like, she's watching out, and it's great. Like, I love everything about that. So I think those three are the best in the movie overall. Not to like super analyze the movie, but just like when you're talking about a movie with actors that are super well known, like Jason Bateman, when he's on screen, I'm sorry, he's Jason Bateman. He's the fox from Zootopia. He's the guy from Ozarks. He's the guy from 78 billion other movies you've seen before and heard his voice before. He's just so synonymous with so many things. It's hard to not see him as Jason Bateman.
I have no problem with that. I like seeing Jason Bateman. Like,
no, I do too. I do too. But he's Jason Bateman. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not the character that he's supposed to be. He's Jason Bateman. And that's where he's left for me. But yeah, I love there's great competitive jabs against Adidas and Converse. Like, there's a moment where they're talking about there's the agent talking to Matt Damon's character, and he's like, yeah, wasn't his name Adi Adolf? His name was Adi. He was not Adolf. Can you stop calling him Adolf? Wasn't he a Nazi? No, he was not a Nazi. They do not call. He's not a Nazi. He was not a part of that. Don't just having fun, like stuff that if it was a softer movie that was not gonna pull its punches would not be doing it. Like, these are big corporate companies. Like, usually you don't go that far in jokes.
Something I'm curious about these movies is like when it comes to like company product biopics.
Yeah.
Do all the companies sign off on these movies and like
they have to?
Yeah. So yeah, but like, when it comes to when another company is an antagonist of a movie,
yeah,
like
they have to sign off. That's why I said. That's what I'm saying. Like, all the jokes. That's why I'm like, I respect the fact that like they were allowed to, like, all the Adidas jokes about the founder being a Nazi. Like,
yeah,
I really appreciate the fact that they can make jokes about that, and Adidas is like, yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Like, go ahead. Fuck it. Like,
it goes across all these biopics. It's like, are they always allowed to do this? Like,
yeah, like, I love the fact, because again, like, they still show, I think the benefit is for Adidas is they still show that Adidas is a powerhouse. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, when you're the bad guy, you're still the powerhouse. Like, you're not this, like, you're evil, sure, to the mindset of the people, but, this is still one company going after another company. This is not like, like Ford v Ferrari is still Ferrari. Like, it's still a cool ass car company, even if you're the villain. For Adidas, you're still Adidas. You're still on top, and you're still signing other players. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like when McDonald's is represented in the Clerks animated show. Nothing can stop the grimace.
Nothing's like, oh my god, that's so ancient, man. Oh my god, that's valuable.
Next cartoon chat.
But yeah, what else am I thinking? I think so again, I think they're just great. There are great moments, great scenes. One of my favorite scenes is the picnic table. Like Matt Damon's character goes. He's like, "Fuck it." By the way, you haven't seen something like Jerry Maguire. People love Jerry Maguire. I love Jerry Maguire. It is a movie led by Tom Cruise, where it sort of breaks down the sports analyst very well into more of a caring person. You get more of a perspective about the sports analyst that wants to do well for his players. This movie does almost the opposite. This agent is an asshole, and it kind of does a really good job of giving those that don't know about what's in the sports industry. Like, it really gives a good presence of what goes on Like, there are antagonistic forces, and there's just genuine blockades, and, you know, a cost blockade. Like, it gives you that idea of what's going on without being too overbearing in exposition. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, I love the back and forth. It's like, you know, you must have herpes or whatever the fuck you said, STD. You know, just some great back and forths. But the picnic table, going back to that's like a really good scene, you know, because again, Matt Damon's character says, "Fuck it, I'm going all the way to North Carolina." Goes there against the company's wishes, just to, you know, and he's like, again, he's a betting man, because that I love the fact that that's a through line. It starts with him. He loses the bet, but this bet, he's like, I know what Adidas is going to do. I know what Converse is going to do. If they do what I say they're going to do, negotiate with us. Come on. So, and and you get just this personal moment between him and my MJ's mother, and it's very nice. You know, Viola acts very well. Again, Viola's a fantastic actress. So it's like just two actresses, actor and actress, just playing off each other well. You know that like Matt Damon like just had so many outtakes, because you know they did that like when she's like Viola's like, there's one moment where Viola's like, well, what is Adidas gonna say? And he of course goes into, hello, Mrs. Jordan. But it's like just unnecessary, like, you know, it's like, that's a funny, like, brief moment, but they know what type of scene they want to make. They don't want to turn this into a comedic showstopper. They want to keep this flow of, this is a serious moment, this is a serious conversation, and they move off it, but they give that moment to Matt.
She does play Michael Jordan's mother very well.
Yeah. But, yeah, overall, though, I don't have anything else to say. I just thought that Air, you know, when we were talking about BlackBerry, when we used to watch BlackBerry, I was like, all right, we have to watch Air or review Air, because I had seen this movie months ago, and again, I've seen it a couple times, and I thought, man, this is a good movie. And again, it's not like BlackBerry at all. In fact, it's almost the opposite in the way that what actors are involved. Just because, you know, you have these big names, but it's just good to see this.
So what got
climb.
So like you saw this movie for the first time on streaming, and you watched it 3 times.
Yeah, again, I like...
So what got you watch it another 2 times?
Remember, this movie was... you don't remember because you didn't make a top 10, but I had this in my top 10 at the half of 2023. This was like in my top 10 favorite movies. I thought that it...
It's surprising you didn't go to see it in theaters then.
I missed it when it was in theaters. I think that was when I had the surgery.
I kept thinking about it, but like every time I saw it in theaters, I was like, what is there to watch? I could go watch Air.
Because there was like Shazam. Yeah. This was by the way, this was at the same time as Super Mario movie. So yeah, that's how far back that was.
I don't feel like watching Air today.
Also, the thing was, this came out. No, I did see it. I had to have seen it because it was in my ScreenBlast top 10. So did I see? It's been so long that like it's just like,
it came out this year though.
It came out this year, but like it's been so long that like it was in my top 10 for ScreenBlast movies, and I only put theatrical ScreenBlast. Like I made that list back at the 6-month mark. I had to have seen it at least once in theaters, but I don't recall. Either way, I saw it 3 times because again, I like the dialogue, I like the back and forth. I think again, Ben Affleck does a really good job here in keeping the momentum of this movie going pretty fluidly. He does a great job with the casting. You know, again, you're just getting a lot of people that know each other very well, that know their dialogue very well, that are fluid with each other very well, that, you know, have this chemistry so that they're able to act pretty cool. So, yeah, any final thoughts on Air, Mark?
I can tell you love the movie so much. You carried that entire review.
Yeah.
Without like no breath at all. I was getting ready to say something, but then you kept going, and then I lost my train of thought.
Holy shit, my bad.
Yeah. I think you kind of. I disagree with you. I have not much to say, but like this was a fun movie. It's a thing I like about these product biopics. There's just a nostalgia to like all of them, especially like when you know the product. I don't know Air Jordans, but I know about the commercialism of Michael Jordan, and this was the beginning of it.
Yes.
Also, this movie just like just slams in your face. This is the 80s. This is the 80s. This is the 80s.
Absolutely.
In the beginning, it just like all these commercials, all these stuff, and it's like, yeah, I like this. As someone like, I know some people have like issues with it, especially with like needle drops and stuff. But like, as someone who's like a sucker for like, especially for like movies that like shoehorn in nostalgia, like we just mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, like fucking Space Jam, and fucking and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers and shit. It was like, yeah, like like this, nostalgia is fun, and I did like that. I did like that little intro.
Yeah, I think the needle drops, it's just like have them in the right time. Like if you're going to the Mario movie, have it fit. If you're going to do an 80s movie, do it in an 80s focused movie. Like these, as much as I thought, yeah, these are needle drops I've heard
even that what was that ending song? Because I swear I heard that in other documentaries before, or any other movies.
I can't recall, but
Born in the USA. There.
Oh yeah. Well, no, Born in the USA. So what's funny is they bring up the fact that like the 80s at the time, it's like Born in the USA, because Jason Bateman's character actually brings up the fact that like, yeah, like he was like, yeah, I'm listening to Born in the USA, and he was like, I just realized that this was not very like pro-America. In fact, it's very like, it's not anti-America, but it's just telling the truth. And yeah, that's what people kind of realize, because Born in the USA was used in the 80s for the Ronald Reagan campaign. And so people really got behind Born in the USA, but they didn't realize that Born in the USA was like, hey, the military's bad. People are dying in Vietnam. This shit's crazy. This isn't good.
I get that makes sense. Yeah, I get it makes sense for this movie, but like, I know there was like another movie or other movies that end with that song too.
Of course, because even other movies misinterpret Born in the USA. That's the thing is, like in the you can imagine movies in the 90s used it, movies in the 2000s used it, because it's a super fucking cool like America pro. Like it sounds like it's woo go America. Like it sounds like you're walking off in the sunset. Yeah, you got your American flag, you got your beer, everyth's good.
America.
Fuck yeah! Like that's what you feel, but if you're not listening to it, you don't realize it. But it's
fuck the USA.
Oh, geez.
The whole time.
But that's the type. But
kill. Have too many towers. One of them knocked down by a.
All right. But yeah, man, I think that's why I think that it's one of those times. That's why it's such a memorable '80s song, because it means so much. It's very much like rap, where you're gonna have these double, triple meanings. And this song, it has double, triple meanings beyond, and it doesn't even really. Sometimes there are double meanings. Other times it's just in your face. I think there's a verse where literally he says like one of his friends dies in Vietnam, and the wife is just stuck with nothing now. Like it's like. But it's sung along in this melodic tone where you're just like, yeah, America, woo! But if you just listen to it for a little bit, you're like, oh fuck. Yeah, that's right. This isn't good. Like, you kind of get the fact. It's like living in the USA. Like, it's not a...
Play it backwards.
America, fuck you.
Kill the Pentagon. Hit the towers. Kill the towers. September 11th.
All right. Enough. Stop getting me on a list. But yeah, the one thing I forgot to mention, I love the mad scientist vibes you get from the shoe designer. That's the other thing. I love this, like, Frankenstein, like, he's, like, totally a pro, and it's, like, that's probably the most, liberal part of the movie. Like, by liberal, I mean, like, where they stretch the truth. I'm sure it didn't look exactly like that at all, but they wanted to have this mad scientist as experiment-looking place. And it turns out pretty good.
It's cinematic, that's it.
Exactly. Like
you just have to make things more, like when it comes to movies, you have to make things cinematic. Like this is just like a very like wacky comparison example, but like the Cat in Underpants movie, when they like hypnotize their principal, it's just like they just use a hypno ring and just in the books they just use a hypno ring and just snap. He's Cat in Underpants. In the movie, they just make it more cinematic, where like. It just creates like a mini tornado.
Oh my god!
And it's like a big kind of spell book moment.
Yeah.
And it's like that's when he turned into Cat in Underpants.
But it's totally inaccurate to what the original format was.
Yeah.
In the same way. Yeah. In the same way.
But they make it more cinematic.
Right. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. But that's
Well, that's also
that liberal take.
Look for it on the future Cartoon Channel.
Oh yeah, but that's why that liberal take is so good, because it's like you have to do some. You want that mad scientist vibe. You don't want it to look like the same office level that you saw for most of the movie. You want this to be like, now we're gonna create the legend.
It's kind of like,
it's like, but it's like you're building the legend.
Well, you're kind of seeing a situation through their eyes. So this is how it's like to them. Like this is like this moment is like a mad scientist laboratory moment to them. Right. If you were to if we were to make it more realistic and view it from the outside, it's a fucking boring scene. But like, if you're watching it through their eyes, it's like an incredible moment, and I think that's what the intention is.
Absolutely. I mean, there's like, I believe in that scene, there's like there's a lot of Easter eggs for other shoes and things like that. So it's like, again, just moments of we just want to show off here, and it's a good moment. So yeah, but guys, I would recommend AIR. It's on Amazon Prime Video, and if you, I mean, look,
I was really
mostly everyone. Literally, mostly everyone has Prime, at least through shipping. Like, if you don't have it, then whatever. But most
just
people
rent it,
whatever. Like, yeah, it's gonna be on Red. It's in all the red boxes across the country. But Amazon, it's there, and I think that it's a fun time, and it's got actors that you've probably seen before that you enjoy. Do you like Matt Damon? Watch the movie.
I can definitely say
do you like Ben Affleck?
This is my new favorite Michael Jordan biopic.
Well, what's the other one? Space Jam's not really a biopic.
It's a fabricated biopic.
The only biopic that it is the first 5 minutes. Then
the last 5 minutes. Oh, sorry. Then the last 2 minutes. Then the last minute and a half. It's a fabricated biopic.
I mean, I'm sure that there are people that would like have their own mind theory that that's the reason why he got into back into basketball. And I will say, like, it is beautiful. That's the other reason why that made so much money is the timing was impeccable. If you did this at any other time when Michael Jordan was at the top or not doing basketball, like he wasn't doing basketball for that brief time. If you did that at any point in time, like in 1990, you probably don't get the hit that you get because he was back again. People were just like, oh shit. Like, it just lined up so well.
I mean, I say this in my, Space Jam, my Back in Action video, but, it was also a hit because, it was a crossover aspect because...
Fuck Looney Tunes, no one cares.
At the time,
I'm joking.
Because Looney Tunes are in their heyday because Nick at Night was rerunning them to hell and back, and the generation of kids are just growing up with these fucking Looney Tunes and love it and learning to love these characters.
Yep.
But this AIR completes. To me, it completes 2 trilogies. It makes up for two
trilogies. What are these trilogies?
So the first one is Space Jam and This is a prequel to Space Jam and Space Jam 2.
That is the most disgusting attachment.
Okay, the second trilogy.
Wait. Just imagine you go from. That would be, by the way, the worst trilogy fall ever. Like, talk about the new trilogy, like the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. No, you go from top tier actors to just Michael Jordan and a few actors like Bill Murray and some comedic actors in Space Jam to Don Cheadle. LeBron's off-brand son and LeBron James. That is a terrible switch up. What's the other trilogy? I've been.
It's about the shoe, so Like Mike and Like Mike 2. It completes that trilogy.
Holy shit.
Which is also 2 movies that couldn't really get Michael Jordan either.
That's a good point.
And they're about the shoe.
That's a good point. I will say, is there a way to stop the squeaking?
That's just me.
Oh,
I'm just fidgeting with it.
Gotcha.
But yes, so it completes 2 trilogies. So you can
I will say but the Like Mike connection I didn't even think about. I watched that.
I watched the first.
No, I watched the first one hundreds of times.
Yeah, as a kid. I don't know why.
And it's
I don't remember anything from it.
It's a funny movie, but it's crazy to think about.
I can't remember anything from it.
Dude, he was in a car with an adult and they think he was drugged up or something. Like the kid gave the adult like drugs or something, and so he had to drive the car. There was some crazy shit happening in that movie, man. Some crazy shit. Go back and watch. Like, we might do a nostalgia watch of that at
It'll
some
be on the
point.
next
2
Cartoon
years
Chat.
from now. Cartoon Chat. What the fuck? Why would we put that in Cartoon Chat?
Is it animated enough? Are the actors animated?
Like Mike
Yeah.
is live action. What the fuck are you talking? Did you even see Like Mike?
If they're animated enough, it's cartoon. It's a cartoon.
Shut the.
Just fucking.
I don't know.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yeah, but guys, go see Air. I think we all give it a go stream it. All right, let's talk about BlackBerry here.
Sketchy. I don't think it's sketchy. The guy's a shark.
I know how to market it, and I know who we can sell it to. But I want 50% of the company, and I've got to be CEO.
I don't know who you think you are, but deal. Are you joking?
That was a movie we just saw very recently. BlackBerry actually came out back in spring. It's a Canadian film. That's why you really haven't heard much about it. And
It came in theaters over there.
Yeah, and it came in theaters over there, but we had to sort of wait more, and it got limited release apparently. But we had to wait more for it to hit video on demand and stuff like that over here. So a very weird way to reach out. It didn't get.
Yeah, I was like on Showtime, so it was like not in the local theaters.
Yeah, very limited reach, and it came out, like I said, in spring, so right around the same time as Air, but Air definitely got more of a push, and this follows the core team that builds the BlackBerry into the brand that.
I mean, well, I can see why Air got more of a push because it was from Amazon, and Amazon,
of course,
Amazon is everywhere, and you can't avoid it.
Yes, absolutely. So
I don't know if you've seen one of the most recent episodes of Futurama, but like it accurately depicts Amazon.
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah, because of course at the end of the day they get all they're all encompassed in the orb and they have to accept it. It's over.
They are the universe.
They are the universe. It's over. Like, it doesn't matter. You're trying to fight it. No, there's no fighting it. Fuck you. Like, I love the way that episode ends. It's beautiful. It's like, yep. What'd you think? We were gonna end this episode and peace was gonna happen? Fuck you. No. That's not how this works. You idiot. But anyway,
I love that. It's the same as it. They took over the universe. It's the same. So it's the same as it always been.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
That's funny.
So
I'm surprised you've been keeping up with it too.
Oh yeah, dude. I wanted to keep on going because it's like, dude, that's how you know it's good. That's how you know it's great. They got their. I don't know how they got their mojo back because I remember during the Comedy Central run it was hit and miss. Yeah, this has been a good run. This has been a really cool set of episodes so far. And again, like I said before, I didn't watch it. I watched it during the Comedy Central when it was just airing reruns, I wasn't watching it when it was like dropping new episodes.
I've seen some Comedy Central here and there. Again, it was hit and miss.
Yeah, and again, I wasn't paying attention when it was on Adult Swim. So like I put that right around there where it's like they were airing reruns, and it's like this feels like it could fit right in. Like it's not like, oh, this feels off. It's like, oh, this feels just like something that would happen 10 years ago on Futurama, and it's great. Like I love I'm enjoying just jumping back in. I'm enjoying it more than Ahsoka right now. I'll say that much. And like, I mean, like, it's not bad, but it's just like, all right, whatever. We'll keep following. I'm not going to tangent on that, but let me keep going with BlackBerry.
Hey, it's StreamBlast.
Yeah. So that's why I wouldn't bring it up if it wasn't. So screenplay was written and the film was directed and also stars. You see the guy on the right? He's the guy that wrote the screenplay. He directed the film. Like, this is Matt Johnson, this guy on the right who is the who plays, I believe, where is Doug Freegan? Yeah. He's Doug Freegan, and he just, yeah. I appreciate that he put himself in the movie, and who he plays is valuable. Like, it's a very cool way, instead of being like, you know, if you're not I'm not going to keep comparing and contrasting to Air, but you're not the main guy. And that's cool. Like, you gave it to Jay Baruchel, who I think you gave Mike. So Mike Mark Lazardis. He's the guy that's more of the designer, the product designer that we sort of follow more. And he's played by Jay Baruchel, who was much more known here in the States. He's played a lot more comedies and things like that. I like the idea that, again, the guy that's writing the film, he's directing the film, he's just like, all right, I'm a main character, sort of, but I'm still really a part of this film. And he acts very well. I think that he does a really good job for what he's playing. It's goofy, it's fun. And then you also have, of course, Glenn Howerton, who plays Jim Balsillie. Or something like, so they make fun of his name a lot in this movie because it's like, it does sound like ball silly, like, you know, just some stupid shit like that. But yeah, man, this is a very interesting climb because, you know, it's just essentially like, look, this company, they're just not doing anything right now.
Okay, well, I like this, like, I had more fun with this than I did with...
You just took it over. Go ahead. Do what you got. You pitched it to me, so you threw this at me, by the way. You're like, check this movie out. So...
Because I've heard about it through like separate podcasts where it's like this movie was good. So like usually when a movie gets recommended enough, I get inclined to look at it. So I didn't look up any trailers. I didn't look at what it was about. But I know the name BlackBerry because I used to have one of those fuckers. So I was like, hey, let me just check out this documentary biopic. And like I was like, hey, I called you up. Hey, you want to watch this with me? And he's like, yeah. I got nothing to do. I'm fucking.
Jacking off.
Yeah. I was gonna make it.
I knew I had to get there before you fucking got there. So go ahead, keep on moving. You're talking about the movie. Shut the fuck up. Stop working.
I guess I'll whack
Stop working your comedic brain and work on the fucking review. Fuck you. Fuck you. All right.
All right, but freaking black shit. I lost my train of thought. Of the masturbation joke.
Because you kept trying to build the comedy. That's what I'm saying. Like,
you should just let me make the joke, and then I would have kept my train of thought. You fucked everything up.
Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous.
But I like this movie because what is different from Air. Air is just like Air is a traditional like movie, but like this one has like a handheld found footage sort of vibe, and so it feels like you're an observer in the room every time.
Yeah, we were talking. It looked great. They had in the beginning, and it kind of faded less and less. The more it got bigger and bigger, the bigger the company got, the less you had that found footage, like The Office look.
The less the less it was going for an observer feel, but like because of that, it felt like you were in the room. So like when there was like especially when there was like those uncomfortable scenes, like when you saw how terrible they were keeping their office and stuff, you just felt like. You had like the I didn't feel uncomfortable watching. It just felt like you were in the room and you were feeling uncomfortable with the characters.
Yeah, pit of your stomach moments, especially when it got toward the end where shit was getting left. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is this story. Yeah, man. This is just like this is like just a company that, you know, you've got the core team, kind of like Apple or any tech company that starts up. Like you have this company that's like, man, they're working on ideas, but they're not really. There's no real drive towards it. So even then, they don't really know how to market their product. And then you have this guy, this Jim Balsillie guy, and he's just, you know, he doesn't like his position in his job. He's not happy. He wants to find a way up. He wants to climb the ladder, and you know. It's very interesting in the beginning because, you know, he's trying to climb the ladder. You know, he's cunning. He's like a fox. He's trying to climb the ladder, and, you know, he sees these guys. You know, he goes into that company. He's like, look, I'll buy your company. And at first, I love the way that they present it because at first it's like you think that he's in the right because it's like, it's just a different vantage point. Like these guys, they have their own thing going, but they're not really going anywhere. So, and they do have an idea that would work. And would be profitable, and he sees that. He has that vision, but he also
he's a great actor. Have you seen?
By the way, do you know he has hair? Because he's such a good actor. I didn't know he had hair.
Yeah. Well, okay. Do you watch Always Sunny?
I haven't much.
Okay, because it's a funny ass show. It's so
that's all I hear.
It's we gotta watch some episodes together. It's so funny. There's like jokes build up like throughout the episode, and then like they hit with a punchline by the very end. It's just like you just clap your hands like, wow. Beautiful. But like he plays Dennis on that show, and he's really good in that.
That's great. I mean, again, this was a complete turn for this character, for this actor.
Yes. Well, he plays a dick.
So he still plays a dick. So it's a similar vibe.
Not too similar because he's.
What do you think of his performance?
Dennis in like Always Sunny is a pure narcissist.
Well, what do you think of this character? Like this actor then, like after seeing him in Sunny, because most of these actors, the only actor I know is Jay Baruchel. From I can't recall the other movies that he's in, but I've seen him in several movies already. He's mostly the nerd, the background nerd that's very nervous and very Michael Cera-esque usually, and he's kind of still playing that character for the most part in this movie. But what do you think of his acting range?
He's definitely not the same character from Always Sunny, but he is like he does play like a strict businessman very well, who's like gets full of himself. I guess he is close to like the character in Always Sunny, but like it's. But fun.
It felt different.
Yeah. It felt different.
Yeah, this guy is like again. He's such.
He does take the spotlight, especially in the beginning of the movie. Like,
well, I think throughout, because like everything, he's like again, he's a fox in this movie. He's finding his way in. He finds his way in, and he's just at first it's like all right, he's working with them. And then at some point, it's like, there's just not that sympathy with the core team. And there's a point where Research in Motion is a core team that's chill and has a movie night and is casual, whether or not that proves to produce anything really at the end of the day. And this company probably, like they saw, would have flatlined without his help, But they were living in the moment. And, you wonder, like, all right, it's just an interesting situation because it's all about the desperation of profits. That's where things go left. You get to the point where they're rising, and, like he said, like he takes off, he buys the company, and then Jim builds this thing into the significant player because I think we all love when he takes over the company. I think most people, there's some people that probably would say, I like the nerds, but I like the nerds, but they weren't doing anything.
I was rooting for the nerds in the beginning because like don't let them buy your company. Don't let them buy your company. You guys are building this, and he's trying to get a piece of what you owe. And then there's like once you get into their like office and see how they're running things, I was like, oh, they are terrible at like doing everything.
Yes,
they need somebody to take command and just like fucking just.
Fix it.
Babysit them,
fix it.
honestly.
Yes, and babysit. Yeah, that's the crazy thing is it felt like you needed someone to babysit. Unfortunately, he comes in and he buys it, and then he's like, it's so bad that they don't even know that they're in like severe debt to the point where he buys it, and that money is immediately like it goes into debt. Like he's immediately in the negative, so he has to put his house on it too. And it's like, Jesus, like that's how far in he goes, and he's pissed, and I just love, he's like, get this shit done, I need a model now. Like, it's just like, do your jobs. Like, because you're wondering, like, what are they doing just sitting there?
Woodman wants to see it. We're going to Bell Atlantic tomorrow.
What?
New York City, tomorrow.
But he said...
You have till 8 a.m.
To do what?
A great surprise for me in this movie was I did not expect Proceedy to be in this.
Proceedy, that was amazing. When they get so big, because it's like, you don't expect some of these turns. Like, they got so big, they get to the point where they go from this, they blur eventually from just the smaller company to this industry titan, right? They have the big office building, and, Jim, who is desperate to increase profits, forcefully hires like several expensive programmers and engineers with illegal salary practices. He's just like, all right, so the issue that they're finding is, of course, BlackBerry, when they've, there's two pieces to this, by the way. I love the way that there's two pieces to this. There's the backhand fact that Jim is doing these illegal practices and he's a fox and he's trying to climb, simultaneous to who is Jim Baruchel's character? To Mike, who is so focused on the product design. Like, he, in the beginning, is super technical. He's super knowledgeable of his product design. He wants to stamp on it. He thinks he's revolutionary. He's got this...
Hold on. Go ahead.
He's got this revolutionary idea, You know, it's like, why don't you just use a rotator, a roller to, you know, like use this thing and on your phone and just put it on your phone and it's like a smooth thing. And it's revolutionary for time, but he rests on his laurels. You know what I mean? So it's like this simultaneous thing of he's rested on his laurels to the point where we get to the end of the movie and it's all caught up to Jim and it's all caught up to Mike, because Mike is in this place of like, well, shit, I built this revolutionary thing, and it's like he doesn't see how revolutionary the iPhone is, or he does, but he wants to doubt it so much because he thinks that this tech is valuable when time has just passed him by. Tech has passed him by, but he doesn't realize it. He's trying to think of ways to revolutionize without realizing that they've just sat on that laurel, that sat on it for so long. The keyboard, everything, like it was revolutionary for a time. You know, the encrypted texting. It's like, that's great, but you've sat on that for so long that you don't realize how innovative other methods can be. And I love the way that both he and Jim were both sort of at their ends by the end of that movie. I do like the R&D stuff you see. You see a lot of R&D stuff, like, you know, like you see I'm sure that's the accurate representation of the first BlackBerry product or whatever that is, where, you know, you have this toy-like.
Okay, so I think my favorite part was like when you, like, shit gets real once you see the Steve Jobs presentation.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yes. At that point, I took the like, oh god, it's a crossover.
It's Avengers meetup.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like it's from one biopic to the next. You can assume.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
But like, there's for me, I have a lot of familiarity with the stuff in this one because I had a BlackBerry, and like especially, and I remember, I think I had like that cheap Chinese knockoff one at the end too.
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning he's talking about how much he hated
the cheapness of Chinese.
Yeah, the cheapness of China stuff, because like the movie highlights that irritating sound like that coming from that like Chinese like phone or something like that.
Yeah, there's just these technical issues that are always found when you build overseas products technologically. Like technology, that's what they're trying to phone home here for these BlackBerry engineers, is that like they really find that specifically Mike found that it's just this lack of craftsmanship when you mass produce products in another country.
And it comes to haunt them back in the end.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you said though, that Apple moment, like the thing that was so astounding about that Apple moment is like I love how well they present the perspective of everyone in that room. Like they're just all stunned as well. Like they're flat-faced. Like they are all just like, what? Like not only are they doing what we're doing, but they're doing it on a smooth glass display. And we are like, you immediately can tell that they all feel irrelevant. Like that, I don't think I've seen a better acted moment where like they all feel irrelevant. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, does not matter. You know.
I think this is my favorite biopic. So one of my favorite biopics so far. I think I still like the social media one better.
Social network.
Shit. But like, because a lot of biopics are like about companies, are about like they're kind of underdog stories where a guy like starts off like with a small thing and like starts a little business of it, and it grows big, and like he like through like circumstances like he's gone through, like tough circumstances he's gone through, makes a successful company, and that successful company lives on. It's more of an interesting story when you have a product that like that start off high and fails horribly, and
it's just left behind by technology. Yeah.
And it's like you're curious, like just how bad does it get from the inside? Because you're like, it's like getting a gossip scoop of like how everything is from the inside.
Absolutely. That's why I would always love a story about. I think the best like technical biopic story would be one between the iPod and the iPad, because that's the timeline where Steve Jobs' health is, that's where he starts to, like, that's where he's getting into critical health. You know, Apple is doing great. It's like, that would be a great biopic too, where, like you said, like those moments where things are just going left and not, like, everything's good, but like there's a you know what I mean? Like the difference between, like, I would love a biopic where you get the years of Steve Jobs where he's, yes, the products of Apple are doing great and they're revolutionary, but at the same time, Steve Jobs is going through literally like cancer, and the cancer's getting worse, and he's fighting it, but it's getting worse, and like nothing's improving, and even like, and they bring out the iPod, the iPhone, and they bring out the iPad, and his health is getting worse still.
That's why the
that's what I want. I want the final 10 years of Steve Jobs.
That's why the Social Network is incredibly memorable to me, because like it's, my engagement is like the constant conflict between Andrew Garfield and who's playing more?
Not Zucker. Eisenberg. Eisenberg.
Eisenberg's character throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And like how they're going between this lawsuit and something, because like it's not a happy ending story of how then Facebook was successful. The end is about how these two are like just like constantly going at it.
Right.
And you're just like you're just watching a fight.
100%.
It's that's what's entertaining about it.
100%. Yeah, no, I feel you on that. Like, again, like it's so, like, when you see, like, okay, like, they fast forward to when this is a technical behemoth, and it's like, all right, even, like, there's Mike and Jim, both of them. Like, Mike is so distant from the engineering side that even he doesn't follow his own product line anymore, really. Like, he's like, when he, when things are really on the edge and he's trying to figure out how to do something revolutionary with the phone, it's like, he's like tweaking with it, and he's like his hands aren't used to doing the tweaking anymore. So he's like he's like, ow, and like things that would be easy to him are like difficult again, which is such a like good touch. And then at the same time, you have Mike, who's just like, not Mike, you have Jim, who's just like, he took the money and ran. This dude is just, I'm gonna have an NHL team. I'm going all the way. Fuck these guys. I don't care if the money's real or not. I found my way to my dreams, basically. He found his way to his dream, and he doesn't care how it, like, what the final result is. I'm gonna fucking go and buy a fucking a rink that's not for hockey, and then spend the money to convert it to hockey.
I think he knows everything is about to burn, so he's just trying to, like, fucking do his dream before everything burns.
That's a good point. Yeah. 100%.
It makes me want to see more movies about, like, the downfall because of companies' arrogances. Like, I would love a movie about, like, how Atari was run, or, like, how Sega of America was doing the wrong shit.
Yeah.
And, like, or, like, there's the most recent story about, like, the, Amico and how this failed, GoFundMe, console called the Amico, and Tommy Tallarico's arrogance of how he was, like, running everything. I don't know if you heard of the series called Kick Scammers, but it's really good.
Dude, I would love just something where you get EA when it started to EA when it became corporate. I don't need the whole thing. I just need the turn to corporate, because EA in the beginning was literally this artist's paradise for video gaming. Like, it's this beautiful concept where they would credit the artist, and it was all about creative intelligence and super, like, sharp design, and everything was innovative. Like, they were not assholes.
Dude,
there's such a good story there, where it goes from, we are on the cutting edge of caring, to, we are assholes, we want money, and that's it. Like, basically very similar to BlackBerry, but it didn't crash and burn. You know what I mean?
Dude, I want a biopic of Disney between 2010 and now.
Yeah, like just so that gets us to the question here. If we are sort of toward the end here, what is the I won't go there yet, but I'll go to the question. What's a product or brand that you would want to?
I think we just already answered the question before you. I forgot about the question you had at the end, but I think we just already answered it before it came up.
So instead of one that was more down to I would much more want a We were talking about this, funny enough. Like, we literally were talking about this before the recording, but I would want I have two options. The development of the original PlayStation. Like, I just want Nintendo's arrogant. PlayStation, Sony is building this. They switch out with Panasonic, all this stuff, and then
I would love that
PlayStation's
so
momentum, boom.
Nintendo would never let themselves like that, though.
But Nintendo would never. That's the thing. And then I also have the Don Bluth and the original Bluth group. They made Secret of NIMH. They left Disney after they were just like, fuck, we're gonna make our own fucking movie, and they made Secret of NIMH. And I think that would be a really cool climb idea. Like, fuck it, guys, we can do this on our own. Like, we believe in animation this much. I don't know how many people would back that. That's the only thing. It's not really a well-known story. So, do you have any other sort of product or brand that you would want a dramatic retelling of, though?
This was a tough one. I don't think, like...
Because you did name a couple already, but I know that...
No. What I'm about to say.
Okay.
Because I doubt, like... Nickelodeon would not sign off on this.
Oh, shit.
But, like, fucking... I would love a biopic of the entire development life of Ren and Stimpy.
Holy fuck, dude.
John, like, all that shit with John K is a fucking mess.
Yes.
And then Adult Party and the fucking disagreement between him and Billy West.
Yep.
And, like, how they were, like, even recently Nickelodeon was like, we're gonna reboot Ren and Stimpy. We're not gonna reboot.
Right. They went from, to... Yeah. That's a gold. That's a... Dude... Holy shit.
And all that shit, especially with, like, how he was involved with, especially how he likes younger girls.
Yeah, that's it's like, how far do you
everyone had to switch to, like, they originally were working at Spunko, and they all had to switch to games.
Yeah.
I think, like, Ren and Stimpy is, like, a great cartoon, but it's, like, extremely controversial, man.
Absolutely.
Because, like, dude, the fucking complete box set is called the almost complete edition. and it's like the fact that they just fucking named it that, and it's like, what are you not showing?
Right. Absolutely.
Like but the fact that they're that honest on the goddamn box.
Yeah. Dude, that's a gold one. I don't think there's anything more. That's fantastic. That would be such a good one. It's like, but the thing is, it's like, how much do you go to? Do you tell everything? I would love, like you said, just everything.
Dude, like, there was a fun.
If it's not a movie, if it was a series, like, that'd be great too. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, there was a documentary called Happy Happy Joy Joy. It's an entertaining documentary.
Okay.
But like, I mean, because it's like, I guess it's it's an official documentary. It doesn't go that deep.
Right, because they can't.
I mean, there's like a lot. There's a couple of YouTube videos that do go, like, Saber Smart made a good one.
Right.
I mean, there's a book I need to read called Sick Little Monkeys. That is made by Fat Kamarowski, who used to work on Ren and Stimpy. I'm pretty sure that goes pretty deep. I need to read that. I keep hearing good things about that. I need to read it. But like, shit, the Ren and Stimpy history is deep, and like, it is well deserving of a biopic. Man, there's so much you can do with that.
Absolutely.
And it'd be extremely entertaining.
Dude, that sounds fantastic. Holy shit. Hey, man. I'm all for it. I would just also love the conversation, just who thought of the Wii U. That'd be funny as fuck. Just the dumbass that made the Wii U. That's just a funny, stupid one that you could do in 5 minutes. Like, you're fired. Like, that's stupid. But yeah.
That's a biopic. It's only 5 minutes long.
That's a biopic. Yep. He crafts the whole design.
Dude, have it be animated and just have it be like a Pixar short before one of their fucking movies.
Last clip, you're fired. That's it. All right, guys. So that has been our review of AIR and BlackBerry. I hope you guys enjoyed. This has been StreamBlast.
BlackBerries need AIR.
Everything in the world of After All the Bugs, yeah.
I just want to say, like, that... I'm just going to get to it quick, but, like, that... that BlackBerry phone at the end, it's like... It just, like, brought it back, like, I remember that shit. I fucking hated that phone.
Yeah, that's, like, everything that he was worried about coming to fruition.
It was cool, fun build-up, too, because I wasn't imagining...
That it would go that left?
No, what the BlackBerry they would come back is. And, like, once it showed up on screen, I was like, I know what that fucking phone is. I hate that shit. And it was so slow too, and like the way how he was going through the UI and how slow it was just bringing it back to me like, I fucking hate that fucking phone.
Yeah, that zoom out where he has all the boxes.
Yes.
The fact that it's on all of them where they freeze up like that with the
and there was like, I think I had like a rip off of that phone too, and there was rip off because it's a Chinese phone.
Yeah.
So there was like rip offs of that model that were just like that weren't BlackBerry branded, but use that exact same UI.
Absolutely.
I had that phone like fucking 3 times in my fucking life, 3 or 4 times.
It's still probably better than the Windows phone. I'll say that.
It probably still exists out there. Fuck.
Well, yeah. Those I know that they definitely had to buy a couple, like just brand. You know what I mean? Like they had to buy like a crate probably.
Yeah.
I know not all of those crates.
You see those phones, it's sitting in dollars at the same time, like cell phone, smartphone.
Dude, I just that's that was an interesting era of cell phones where it's like you were switching from that tactile to the touch, and everyone was like, is that gonna work? Is touch gonna work? Is it gonna actually land? And it the fact that BlackBerry knew ahead of time, like, here's the numbers, here's how many people are excited about iPhone, like, that's crazy. Like, they knew, here's the excitement, like, here's how far we are number 1 right now, and we will fall to like 6 in like a couple months. That's crazy. Like,
dude, the fucking dude, like, it was doomsday for all phone companies when the fucking iPhone just like blipped into existence.
And then Samsung quickly hurried up and made their Galaxy line, and
how soon was it after?
Not too far after, I believe before 2010. iPhone was announced in 2007. And I know there was a lawsuit way back because Apple was trying to sue Samsung because they were... At first, Apple was trying to sue Samsung because Apple wanted the proprietary design of the square-shaped phone with glass, which of course now is just funny to think about because everyone does it, but they wanted that. But like every company now does that design. But you can imagine, like, if Apple was to get their way, no one or everyone would have to pay so much to Apple to use that design. But they lost that lawsuit. Samsung was able to use that design because again, like, that's like, you can't do that. Like, you'd take over everything.
Yeah.
So, and the iPhone lives on, and now we're on iPhone fucking 15.
Well, it's basic technology. It's like that's TV screens. It's a small TV.
Yeah, that's why it was magnetic to the world. Was because now you can watch it. Again, an iPod, an email device, a web navigator or whatever, internet navigator, as Steve Jobs said. And so, if you can do all that, you can do it smoothly. You're good, and that's why that's why iPhones.
I hate when companies just like try to like stop innovation with like these fucking patents that like can be rivaled. Because Napco for the longest time had the patent that like, hey, nobody can have loading screens on their fucking mini games.
That's right.
But nobody, like, if they were rivaled on it, they would have lost it.
Yep.
Because it's been done before, but like nobody wanted to rival on them, and that like, when I found that out later, it was like that pissed me off because like.
I think no company...
like that, and it could, like, it's useless now, because, like, now in this era of gaming, we have no loading screens, but, like, throughout that whole fucking...
PS1 era.
Throughout the disc generation in general.
Well, we're still... the disc generation. That's a good point, because, difference between cloud gaming and disc generation. That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah,
PS1, PS2, into PS3.
Yeah, well, when we got into the disc generation in general, it would have been so useful.
Absolutely.
Through, like, every fucking game, but, like, nah.
Right.
Because Napco wasn't even doing it enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, that was a weird one, and it stinks that it was, again, I think no developer really... I think the publishers weren't really trying to push on it because there was no real gain to having it. You know what I mean? Like, at least in their eyes. To me, I think there's a gain. You get possibly a better gaming experience, but it was not a necessity. Though it would have looked pretty good. You would have gotten to see a lot of different options through different studios and all that stuff. But I think that'll... You have anything else? All right. right, this has been the StreamBlast Podcast. Guys, again, you can find StreamBlast on ScreenBlast Podcast on your favorite podcast services. Of course, again, if you go to ScreenBlast Podcast, you will find Cartoon Chat, which is our animation-centric podcast, where we talk about movies or TV shows in the realm of animation. You can go to, again, the ScreenBlast itself, which is all about theatrical films. You can go to Cowcast, which is our casual, memified conversation. You'll be able to enjoy Blasting Turbo Ports, which is our video game-focused conversation. And then you've got, of course, here, StreamBlast there as well. So we've got quite a lineup. We try to keep you guys involved and enjoyed. And if you've obviously listened all the way through, then you are one of those members that has enjoyed. So we appreciate you. We hope that you hit like, and we hope that you did like this. So for everyone here at StreamBlast, including
K9 Biscuits, and look forward to the we are officially announcing the StreamBlast, the ScreenBlast biopic. Brian's character will be played by Paul Rudd, and K9 Biscuits character, me, I'll be played by Seth Rogen.
What the fuck? I'm so confused. But sure, I'll take it. Yeah, guys, that's where you can find us, and that's where you can find the StreamBlast Podcast. And yeah, thanks for listening always.
I can't think of anybody to play. So Paul Rudd is always middle of the road. You just hire him when you can't.
So
think of
you
anybody
give
else.
him to me.
Yes.
I mean, again, I think
you hire Paul Rudd when you can't think of anybody else. It's like, yeah, default. No,
what?
Yeah, Paul Rudd.
You don't hire Paul Rudd for that. Paul Rudd was what? I think you're disrespecting Paul Rudd. That's like
I'm not. He's just he's a good actor. So he's like, if you can't really think of anybody special, like, yeah, I'll just take him.
Nah, there's I don't know. There's several actors. Who's the guy that plays the father in Craven now? The guy that was in Gladiator. The guy that was in 300. The guy that was in. He was Zeus in Thor. He's a guy that if you can't think of, you put him in everything. That's
Who's the guy that played Morbius?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. Yeah, he plays you. There we go.
What the fuck? Yeah, please keep.
And he's doing his joke or
See, now you're just making it a certified box office bomb. Guys, thanks for listening. Stay tuned.
No, my Seth Rogen character is gonna pick it up.
Any last words, Mark?
Huh?
You gotta say.
I just said them.
Oh.
But yeah, logging out, everybody.
Such a disappointing sound of logging out, everybody. All right.
Logging out, everybody.
It's 12 o'clock. What the fuck are you doing? Jesus.